Shayna Eisenstein, born in Hamilton, went to the academy, went on from there to high school in Toronto, base capital. From there came to Israel to study for the year. Ended up deciding I loved it, wanted to stay another year. Stayed on another year. At the end of that year, it was time to go home for the summer. Didn't know what I'd do the next year, where I would go to university. Toronto, New York, trying to decide. In the interim, I met my husband and we went out and we decided we were going to get married. And he wanted to live in Israel and I was totally excited about the idea. So we came back to Canada, the States, got married and moved back the following fall, and we've been living here ever since. That was 1997. We lived in Yerushalayim for a year and a half, and we moved out to Moskovitz. We were one of the first people on our block. We moved there before there was buildings behind us. We used to have a shepherd would come with his sheep, and we still hear the coyotes, but we would hear them like I felt like they were in my backyard, which they probably were. And we've been here ever since. We watched the city grow, and we just love it. We've got 6 children. We're raising them here. Total Israelis. We're trying to get them to speak some English. Mm-hmm. And I'm not sure what else.
Oh, I forgot to say that I came with 3 kids, but I had 2 more kids after I came. So
Okay.
I have 2 kids that are born here and 3 kids that were born in Canada. But, you know.
Do you tell the difference between Israeli?
No, I mean, they're all, you know, perfectly bilingual, and but we speak English at home.
Hi.
And my sons, you know, have been in the army.
Moshe Moskovitz.
It's not really slashed.
Let's see, I was born in '56, born in Hamilton. I lived in, I was born in the east side of Hamilton, in, what was that?
Ontario Street.
Ontario Street, yeah, Ontario Street.
I know where you were born.
I went to public school for kindergarten, grade 1, and went to the Hamilton Hebrew Academy starting grade 2 when I first started. My parents at the time were traditional, but weren't Shomer Shabbos. They became Shomer Shabbos after, at least my mother, after I had a car accident. I was hit by a car, and then my mother became religious, and the house became more religious after that. Then we moved right before my bar mitzvah to the west side of Hamilton on Thorndale Crescent.
Well, they lived around the corner from us.
And continued in the Hamilton Hebrew Academy. I went to Westdale High School for 1 year, grade 9, because there was, the Hamilton Hebrew Academy we had a grade 9 which consisted of 2 people, so I wasn't going to be the 3rd person. So I decided that I think it was a bad move, but anyway.
Marvin?
And no, it wasn't Marvin. And then in grade 10, I came to Toronto, went to Ner Israel Yeshiva College. This was continuing as, so went to Ner Israel College. Basically, I lived in Toronto, was a dormitory, and came home on the weekends. And then I continued to go to U of T after that. Did a Bachelor of Commerce. And then when I finished university, that's basically when I met my wife. And
You were still in university. You were married.
last year and from then on we lived in Toronto. Basically that's when I left. And we got married in '78 and continued living in Hamilton. Had in Toronto, had 4 kids in Hamilton. Toronto.
It's okay, I called Jerusalem Toronto.
In 1990, we've always wanted to move to Eretz Israel. That was our goal. That was our plan, to make Aliyah. What? But we wanted, decided to move in '90.
Yeah. Why don't you move your chair next to him so I can see you in the camera too?
I don't want to be in the camera. I'll just prompt him from
You might as well be.
No.
basically what drove us to move into to Australia at that time in '91. One reason was our daughter was already coming together. Was 11 years old. She was just before bat mitzvah. Number two, my wife was a dental hygienist in Toronto, and she happened to have a patient. It was during the Ernest Zundel trial. I don't know if you remember that back then. And she worked in Scarborough, where with all the goyim. The dentist was Jewish, and she had a Goyish patient. A guy who was a white-collar worker, was educated, and he really blasted the Jews. It was like really. And my wife, after my wife came home, she said, "That's it. We're leaving this country. We're out of here." So we came. We made a pilot trip for one summer, and then we decided to make Aliyah in '91. And we made Aliyah to a absorption center in Kfar Adumim. We lived there for a year. It was quite an experience. Mm-hmm. And we made it because we wanted to live in Malaya Adumim.
Right. I remember visiting you guys there.
That was the original goal. But the real estate agent somehow convinced us to move to Beit Shemesh. So we've been living in Beit Shemesh for the last came out 19 years.
My name is Harold Rapp. I was born in '52 in Hamilton. My mom was born in '29 in Hamilton. And
your mother? Name your mother.
Bella Rapp, from the Stiglick family. My grandparents and all her siblings lived in Hamilton. I had myself and my younger brother. And growing up in Hamilton, when I started school, there was only Talmud Torah. So I went to public school in Talmud Torah. And my brother, who's the same age as Murray, also was in the first grade of the academy. And once he went to school there, our family started to have a transition, becoming more religious. And the year my father died, I was 18. After saying Kaddish for a year, that was more or less the complete transition where it started to become more Shomer Mitzvot. Moved to Toronto and raised 4 children in Toronto.
Wait a second, you got married first.
Well, I did get married first.
That was good. Good thinking.
And don't forget to mention how my family's from Hamilton.
My wife's cousins are the Richters. So my wife's cousin were the Richter family, and
Don't forget to mention my name.
Ron Richter married Debbie Stiglick, my cousin. So we were at the same wedding, not knowing one another.
Marcy.
So Marcy and myself raised 4 children in Toronto, and after all the kids went to day school, and we had 3 sons, and the youngest was a daughter. And as each son went to Israel for their year of yeshiva, each one stayed an additional year, and then became army, and our oldest one got married in Yerushalayim while we were still in Toronto. And eventually all 3 sons made it clear that they were all going to make Aliyah. And that's when my wife and daughter made it clear to me that we were going to make Aliyah. And we made Aliyah 3 years ago, after our 3 sons were all in various stages of Yerushalayim, working or in school. And our mother made Aliyah. My brother made Aliyah 25 years ago. So our complete family are all now in Yerushalayim.